Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Everyone who's ever listened to the show knows our engineer has a special button, magical button. It goes like this. And, because he's a New Yorker, or excuse me, I'm a New Yorker, and he knows that. So, what are we listening to? You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show, AskBrien, and it's part of the Ask Brien network, AskBrien.com. Our engineer is going to tell us why would we spell Brien with an E, because a lot of people don't understand what the E stands for, and people want to have an understanding. So, Mr. Engineer, what does the E stand for besides engineer?
Well, the E stands for empathy, excellence, expert. My personal favorite is the engineer, and effort. I believe I hit them all, right? Right, boss?
That's pretty good. After 39 million shows, for 38,999,000 shows, you never got them all, but you got them all now. So I guess I'll have to give you a congratulations. And now your head probably won't fit through the door, but yes, we are going to give you that rah rah rah. So where's your little button with the applause? You don't have an applause button?
You know what? I actually do. Give me literally 1 second or so.
Well, we'll have to do it later because we have a very, very big show today.
All right.
Like kind of Ed Sullivan's really, really big show, guys. Really, really big, humongous, out of this world show. And we can't stand to wait for your applause button.
I actually have it right here for you.
Break. Or if you do something well, then
okay,
you can get another applause button.
All right.
But,
I gotta wait for you.
Those.
I'll have it waiting on standby.
Anyway, the Ask Brien Radio Network is part of the AskBrien.com website. Ask Brien basically is a site that will provide business advice and information to business owners, mostly small business owners. We have two components to it. One is the community section whereby business owners in one industry can ask business owners in another industry specific questions. I'm a car dealership in Philadelphia. I'm a car dealership in Florida. How are you dealing with the stay-at-home situation now? Are they ordering cars online? Are they allowed to visit? If they do visit, are they allowed to do test drives? How does it work? People can ask questions from one business to another business that's within the same business industry. That's the business community. And then we have the experts, as our engineer has described. The experts are people that typically will have 10,000 hours in one subject. Typically, that's about 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year. It's about 2,000. So if you've been in business doing one area for 5 years, maybe doing marketing or website development or accounting or affiliate marketing or any other subject, if you have that much time, you probably have enough information to become an expert, but everyone is vetted. There's also another way that you can become an expert. You don't need to have 10,000 hours. For instance, if you're a salesperson and you have sold $10 million worth of product, in the first month, we're not going to sit there and say, we need to wait till you have 5 years experience at 10,000 hours. You can get it without that. So there's no requirement. When you become an expert on the Ask Brien site, you're allowed to put your videos, your webinars, your ebooks, your blog posts, any information you want, you can post on the Ask Brien website for free at no cost. And you can attract clients, attract business, and there's no cost to you at all. That's what the Ask Brien Network is. My co-host is also our guest today, and her name is Tamara Loehr. And I can't go too long today because we get started with a little. Well, yes, hello. Now,
how are you?
One very, very important question is because we are in North America and you are in Australia and you're below the equator. So everybody always asks that question. When you flush a toilet, does it go the same way? That's the biggest question of the day. But having said that, we're going to be a little bit more serious today. We'll answer that question later on. Tamara has
a very, very... Because let's not start with toilet talk, shall we?
Exactly. I can't even use the word because the FCC says it's a bad word. But we all know what it means. It's a lot of crap. So the first question we had today was from a listener, and he said that he's been an employee for 12 years. He really, really likes the jacuzzi business, swimming, which is hot tub business, and he's been making a lot of good money, but now they've laid him off. They furloughed him, saying that he can't work right now because with all the stay-at-home orders in America and all throughout the world, he cannot go ahead and sell these jacuzzi, hot tubs anymore. So he's trying to figure out what he needs to do that he can, do something and actually make a living. Because yes, he's going to get a stimulus check from the United States government, but $1,200 is not really going to make a big difference. So he's looking to what things he can do, and can he qualify? Can anybody open up a business? Are the qualifications to do a business? And what would be the best advice you could give that person? That was our first question.
Oh, good question. Well, it's really interesting because I've had so many people reach out to me and ask that same question. And I think that comes from deep within a yearning that they've always had to become an entrepreneur. So when we look at that, does he want to be an entrepreneur? Because there's certainly some people who shouldn't be. But transitioning from an employee to an entrepreneur, usually most people don't do it because of a few reasons. And one of those is time, the next one's obviously fear of failure, and the last one's experience or capital. So if we look at those three things and ask that person, this is your time. Why don't you redesign your life? I mean, I'm showing my age, but do you remember those build your own books where you could figure out the ending yourself? We've been given this luxury of time to sit and reflect and decide what path we want to take. So you could almost say it's a correction during COVID. We get to spend some time thinking about what sort of life do I want, what was I expecting, what serves me. And if your job doesn't serve you and everything that you want to get out of life, then perhaps a business is a way to get those things for your life, for your family, and for your future.
Well, are there any requirements to start your own business? I mean, and I'm not talking about going to a lawyer and doing the legal formalities. I'm talking about, can anybody be an entrepreneur? And we're dealing obviously with capitalist countries right now because we could make this go into so many different areas. But
capital's never really been an option for most people, especially females. We get 2% of all capital, so you might as well call that 0.2% right now. But, I mean, there are reasons to go into business, but you should really consider your options. Most people don't go into business because of that reason, capital, experience, the time that it takes. So there's a lot of hurdles, which is why probably most people don't take the plunge. And then, of course, there's 4 out of 5 businesses that fail, which is, quite a big number. And in these uncertain times, people add that as an extra risk to going into business. But what concerns me, alarms me right now, is that a lot of people do want to become entrepreneurs, but they're looking at models that aren't going to get them what they need. And a lot of people now need money in their pocket, and they need it quickly. So for me, if you're a salesperson and you have sales experience and you can transition that from doing it physically, face-to-face, to doing it online, I think that's the shortest way to transition from an employee to an entrepreneur in a short time with the least amount of risk. And that's something that I've been spending a lot of time, copious amounts of time on in the last couple of weeks, is training people on how to bridge that gap so that they can get some instant money in their pocket. Now, don't forget, when you work for somebody else in retail or anything in sales, the average person who works at Nordstrom or Macy's, they're making, they're having to do about $20,000 in sales a month to keep their job just to be able to be paid $2,500. So if you want to return to that, that's fine. But our model, for instance, we give 30% commission. So that's $6,000 in your pocket, which is a lot better than the hurdles that you have to go through with retail. And obviously, once you hit a hurdle, you only then get 7% commission. So, the whole idea of selling online is very attractive right now, but people are being lured into things like pyramid schemes again and all that sort of stuff, which takes far too long to get to where you need to, which is money to feed your bloody family.
Well, 4 out of 5 failing is pretty high. Can you lower that by going along? For instance, a lot of people tell me that the way to try to lower that risk of being 4 out of 5 is, some people do what's called join a franchise, or some people become like an affiliate or distributor for a major brand. Because, as you said, the example with Macy's or Nordstrom's or whatever stores we're talking about, selling $20,000, yes, that's hard, but you don't have to go out and do anything. You've got people coming into your store once they're open and once everything's back to normal. If we ever get back to normal, when we do, it'll eventually happen. you've got people walking in the door and they know that brand name. People walking into the Mercedes dealership, they know about Mercedes, so it's not as hard, to sell that. But the point is, I think to me, and my main question is, can you do it without a brand? Can you just start it from scratch, or would you recommend, to lower your risk of the 4 out of 5 failures, to go with a bigger brand or something that, what do you think on that?
That actually comes down to I think, one of the key things about being successful, and that is that you work smarter, not harder. And most people that I know, because I've spent, a lot of time in incubators over the last 20 years of being an entrepreneur, and the product or the service that they start their business on is usually not the one that they end up with. And they just run out of time and capital trying to figure that out. So yes, the answer to that is yes. If you can leverage somebody else's brand so that you can get the tools, the experience, and the sort of money that you earn when you're in your own business environment right up front, then go for it. So for me, the old franchise model, it's still very valid. It's just we do it in a digital space, which means that you can do it anywhere from home, anywhere in the country, and at any time of the day. And what's great is it's early morning here in Australia. I've just woken up and seen the sunrise and talking to you, lovely gentlemen. And, I sell most of my products in America, and I've woken up to loads of sales. The stuff that we sell is in the beauty and wellness space, so that's still, they're consumable, so people are still washing their hair. We're still seen as a necessity item for most things, so we're seeing actually bigger sales now than before. And when you consider that in America, for every $2 that's spent online, $1 is spent on Amazon, I reckon we go after that other dollar and put it in the pockets of, the Australian mums and dads who want to start their own business.
And it's not just limited to like one country, because it's global, right? When you talk about the internet, you can order from any country. So you can, whereas, if you have a franchise or a brand, typically it's a very, very small location. For instance, if you own a McDonald's, you've got your store, and maybe your store is in Melbourne, you're not going to be selling too many hamburgers to people in Sydney unless they're visiting. So it's really limited to that area, whereas if you're in the beauty supply business online, you can be selling it worldwide. So somebody can be ordering at the same time, South Africa, London, and Phoenix, Arizona. People can be ordering all at the same time. So you have a much wider range of geography to attack. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And what's really great is fulfillment houses have become almost like the new office for people, because we're working from home, and all the women that work with us, who are entrepreneurs with us, we call them wellnesspreneurs, they're all working from home. But we have these things called fulfillment houses and hubs. So how that works is there's stock sitting in warehouses all over different parts of the countries that are our prime areas, and then that means the consumer can get it the next day, which is great. Obviously, at the moment, there's lots of delays with postage, so people are a lot more patient. But in a normal circumstance, people can get what they want fairly quickly. And, consumers are getting a little bit more conscious too, and this is where I think there's a massive opportunity, because I've spoken to you about this before, the timing, right? 50% of all business success comes down to the time that you do it. I mean, the electric car's been tried a few times before. It's just, this was the time, and that's when it took off. So, and I'm sure Uber was tried before as well. So when we look at the timing, people now, especially with what's going on, they care about what they're putting in their body. They're asking, where did the raw ingredients come from, and is this made ethically? And for me, that presents a huge opportunity for especially us, because we're all organic and clean, and most importantly, nothing comes out of China. So by having that differentiator and picking your timing, which is now when people are looking for things that are made ethically and that are better for them, then what a great way to go online and sell that and help people understand that story. Talk to them online about how do you read labels, and this is what our wellnesspreneurs are doing. They're educating people on things like, the healing powers of CBD, because we have a CBD range that's ingestibles for your health and topicals for beauty. So having those conversations, and we call it value-based selling, which is you're not getting online and, like the icky MLM where you're hitting your friends and family up and everyone ends up hating you. You're educating the friends and family inside your network. And retailers have like 400 or 500 friends. I mean, do you have that many friends, Brien? It's kind of great to have those
I'm very lonely. Let me check Facebook. Facebook says I have 1,420 friends. So I don't have any friends. In fact, I'm trying to get friends. That's why I have the show.
Oh, look, maybe come talk to me after the show. We'll have a chat about community management.
Exactly.
But it's actually quite easy, and people don't realise that within their existing network, there's people there who are actually looking for alternatives. So, start up that conversation and start selling them something that they genuinely want.
Now, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left before we have to take a break, and I want to come back. When we come back, we're going to be talking about, people ask me all the time about affiliate marketing and reseller marketing, and they don't have an understanding of that, so I want to go over that with you. But we only have 3 minutes left, so my first question is, do you, if you're an entrepreneur, do you have to have a website to be able to sell products and services in today's environment?
You need an e-commerce store, which is different to a website. Website's just a fancy brochure. But if nobody finds your brochure, if you don't put that in a letterbox, in other words, then who cares about a website? It's really important more. The question is, do you have a website? Do you have a community? Do you have an online following or some people that trust you? And it's quality, not quantity. So I'll leave that one with you. So out of your 1,400, Brien, are they quality?
That's a very good question. I would probably say, there's probably 15 to 20% that are quality, and probably the rest are, they just, there's some connection at some point. So, for instance, typically you'll have your school, right? So your school will be high school, college. If you went to grad school, you have your college group, right? That's one group. Then you'll have another group, work. Yeah. So maybe if you work for 3 different companies, that'll be a group, right? So these are people that sometimes may become close and great friends, and you may be doing things together with. And then there's another group that's just a commonality, some commonality that we share, and that's, so I don't know if they're classified as friends, but that's the network, right? That you have something in common, that you did something. Maybe I took a class with you, or I went to a webinar with you, 9 years ago, and we struck up a conversation, right? So that's typically how I have it. And I have these spheres, right? You have these spheres of whatever. So there might be some people I could call up and say, hey, go buy this product, and I can influence them like that. And some people I might call them up and say, listen, and they go, well, I haven't heard from you in 3 years, now you're trying to sell me a product. And the thing is, you never want, my understanding is, you never want to sell a product or service to somebody, even if they're your friend. You just want to explain to them what the qualities are of that product and what you liked about the product, and let them on their own make that decision, because then they'll be more gung-ho to buy it and continue to do it. And I think that you have to understand that.
And the trust. You got to trust them.
Exactly.
And that's what we do. We say to them, you can try before you buy. We trust you. If you don't love it, just send it back, because we're that confident in the quality of, the products. So, and don't forget, it's not just your friends, it's the community groups that you're in. Everybody's in groups right now trying to keep an eye on what's going on and keep up to date. So there's those people as well. And everyone's looking to have a decent, ethical, honest conversation. So why not start that online? This isn't about picking up the phone. This is about sending a message, through one of your channels.
And we're going to discuss what channels are as soon as we get back with affiliates and resellers. This is the Ask Brien Radio Show, 1220 AM and 98.1 FM. Mr. Engineer, did you fall asleep, or are you there? Because I don't know. He's kind of so quiet.
I've been here.
I figured, you're doing something like your Amazon shopping or something. But okay, we'll be right back.
He's channeling his entrepreneur.
Genghis Khan Mongolian barbecue and Chinese buffet, healthy vegetables and lean meats, a low-carb treat, Create your own bowls with our
Alrighty, we are
delicious
good to
meats
go.
and
We're
always fresh vegetables. Then,
Commercial.
blend in your own secret sauce. Feast at the all-you-can-eat buffet and barbecue for the same low price.
You guys there?
A local favorite for over 25 years, Genghis Khan is still located on Lyons Avenue just east of the I-5. Enter between the Chevron and Shell gas stations. Come and see us soon at Genghis Khan.
Fruit arranged like flowers? What a delicious idea! Edible Arrangements specializes in creating a variety of fresh fruit arrangements overflowing with fresh, hand-designed fruit and filled with strawberries, pineapple, grapes, cantaloupe, honeydew, and seasonal favorites. Made to order in a size you select and ready to eat and enjoy. You can even add chocolate to any arrangement. Edible Arrangements is always fresh, always appropriate, and always appreciated. Order yours today, 253-0052 or ediblearrangements.com. Edible Arrangements is on Soledad near Bouquet Canyon.
This is Suzette Martinez Valadares. Many child care centers are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The child care providers that are open are serving our essential workforce and finding it very difficult to find or purchase the supplies needed to keep their facilities clean and children healthy. Our healthcare professionals are fighting to save lives. First responders and law enforcement are bravely serving our community. And our grocery store clerks are keeping our local markets stocked. This is our chance to help them. This is why we are launching Operation Childcare. Our mission is to collect donations for local early childhood education providers serving our frontline essential workforce. Donations needed include hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, disposable gloves, and masks. These donations can be dropped off at KHTS Radio, located at 24320 Main Street in Newhall, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayOutRecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Hometown, your hometown station.
Welcome. You're listening to the Ask Brien Radio Show, and the only way to spell Brien is with the E, ASKBRIEN, and we're part of the Ask Brien network, ASKBRIEN.com, a business network providing business solutions to business owners. We're all about business. You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM with my co-host, Tamara Loehr. And we're back. So the question we had, and we were getting right before a break, was people have asked, what is an affiliate, what's a reseller, and what's the difference? So can you help them out with that?
Yeah, certainly. Well, when we look at influencers, ambassadors, those sorts of group of people online, they basically get paid to plug a product. And they get paid by brands. They get paid by two ways. They get paid by a brand to do it, or they get paid through an affiliate code or an affiliate arrangement, so through Shopify or through Amazon. So don't get me wrong, they've made a lot of money over the last couple of years, and it's become a big thing online. But you have three levels of influencers. You have obviously your micro, your mid-tier, and your macro. So the ones that have heaps of followers obviously get paid more money for their product shout-outs, but the ones that are perhaps only have 10 to 20,000 followers might only get $250 a post. But COVID has changed all of that for them. the brands aren't paying them, for starters, what they're owed, and secondly, they're not getting the amount of endorsements and work that they used to. And then Amazon decides to announce last week that they're taking their affiliate down from, I think, 5 or 10% down to 1%, as low as 1% for people. So that's certainly not going to give them enough money to make a living out of it. And again, the issue with that, and the issue that I have with all of these models, is that you rely on somebody else, and if they change the rules on you, then it directly affects you, and there's not much you can do. So that's why I believe if you have control of what you're doing online and you know you're making 30% commission because you're in that other environment, which is you become a reseller, then you decide, how you spend that money, and it's always 30%. So stores can't go back and say, well, I want to renegotiate on that, I'm going to bring it down. People just wouldn't sell it anymore. So they have to have good margins. And all we're basically doing is instead of giving the 30% to somebody like Walgreens or Whole Foods to sell our products, we don't do retail at all. We're giving beauty and wellness products to people who want to sell them from home, and we're putting that 30% in their pocket. And that's a huge margin when we're talking about 1% versus 30%, right?
So they're now, and anyone can become an entrepreneur and start this. Can they do this while they're still working?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, they can train while they're still working, and they can do this as a side hustle. And this is part of the risk. The reason we don't have a lot of entrepreneurs is because of those hurdles. So we've tried to take all of those away. So you can return to work, you can have this as your side hustle, you can build it up. Now, this is the exciting thing about selling online, is you usually, if you do it well, and we'll teach you how to sell online well, you get repeat orders, and sometimes people go to subscription. So if you look at our hair care, for instance, 57% of people have it on subscription because they want to make sure that they don't run out of it. And people don't change their hair care very often. Once they find one they love, they stick with it for years and years. So the great thing is with that model is you can build that up on the side, and you can start with 10 people subscribing a month to 20 the next month to 30 the next month. Now, when you start adding that up, once you get to, 400 people on subscription, that's $10,000 a month in commission with an average cart size of around the $100 mark, $100 to $150 mark. So, which is what women spend, Brien. We do spend a lot of money on our beauty and wellness. That's why we look so good, right? So, so when you look at that, you can be building that up on the side, and then you can decide to transition once there'll be that magic number for you. And everybody's number is different on what they need to survive, but then they can transition from their job to being an entrepreneur and get all the things that they want out of life, which is the time, the flexibility, all that sort of stuff. And when you're in your 30s, you've got a young family, you want to spend more time with them, you don't want to be doing these long hours, you've got more bills than you ever have in your life, but you know what you've got? You've got experience. You're great at sales, you're great at customer service, so it's an easy transition. So we're really trying to make it easy for them to become a digital entrepreneur. So we're training them, we're giving them the digital marketing training on the way through, how to, get people to subscriptions, how to find your ideal client, which is called and take them on a customer journey. So how to pick a client avatar, you learn about that sort of stuff. We call them 5-star hippies. And then, how to take them on a journey so that they not only sell once, but they buy once, but they buy again, and then they go on subscription. And that's when you start making money in your sleep.
And, or if you're in Australia and you're selling products in the U.S., you also can make money in your sleep because you're not.
Exactly. That's what I just wake up to. I had a great day yesterday. I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh, my God, look how many sales I've done online while I was sleeping, and now I get to speak to you and go to the beach afterwards. So it's a nice life.
And if you were in Sydney, you can go to Bondi Beach, right?
Yes, but too crowded for me.
Well, and I don't know about social distancing in Australia versus what's going on in the U.S. How long does it take? Because you mentioned that, you on a subscription model, if you can get 400 people doing $100, that, you can make about $10,000. How long does it take for you to get there?
Yeah, so we say it's around 3 to 4 months if you're doing it part-time. So if you want to return to your job, then you could do that within 3 to 4 months. You can transition. So use this time wisely. We've all had our Netflix binge. Now think about how can you redesign your future. Use this time to educate yourself and to transition to the life that you want by selling online. So we say 3 to 4 months. If, however, you already have sales experience, if you already are an influencer and have, like a micro-influencer and have 5,000 or 10,000 followers, you can get there a lot quicker. So it just depends on the pace that you want to do it, but what's great about the program is you can do it at your own pace. So we have some people who are at, 10,000 in month 2, and we have some people who take, their time and they're at 4 to 5 months down the track. But either way, it's just about knowing what's possible and making sure that it's a profitable model. And that's what I have an issue with the pyramid schemes. Is it's a 13-month wait before you get to about level 7 in order to make about 7% commission, and that's not viable for a transition. So we're really passionate about female entrepreneurship, and we're really passionate about making more females during this time. And, during the GFC, you've read my book, Brien, women went from 20% to 40% breadwinners during the GFC. So we actually came out on top. So, with COVID, I'm thinking this is a great opportunity for us to go from 20% of women who are self-employed to 40%, and on their terms, not those really hard startups where you've got a shop that you have to be in from 9 till 9 and like you said, that territory where you can only sell to the people in your community. Let's do something where you can sell anywhere in the world, in multiple currencies and in your sleep.
Well, okay, so that's a very interesting question. You're saying that you think that you can get to 10,000 in sales in a couple months? Is that correct?
Yeah, with influencers, if you've got people there, we teach you how to have a conversation with them and sell product to them through what's called value-based selling. So it's actually not selling online, it's about having a conversation and creating a community. So we were talking about that before the break. So creating communities and like-minded interests of people, so you could get a community together of, and this is communities online, these are people that you bring together in a group, and you start talking about, okay, CBD, how do you avoid the cowboys? What are the healing benefits? What are the health benefits for CBD? And how do I use it? And what's the right amount? And how does it affect my skin for beauty? Because CBD and beauty is a real game changer. But it's new. So women want to hear about that. They want to understand what the benefits are, and they also want someone to help curate them. And when they have a friend online who's saying to them, I'm learning about this, and this is what I'm learning, and these are the benefits, and these are the results I'm getting, people really love that. And they love that more than an ambassador that they know is getting paid to say it. So that's a really important thing. And by having those conversations and engaging them online, which we're all doing anyway, we've all got our heads in the phones, right? If we're having an education-based and a value-based conversation with the people that we put in our group, then they automatically sell. It's 90% value add, 10% suggestive sale online. That's our approach. It's not the hardcore ad in your face, buy this now, get steak knives, the old way of selling. It's about adding value, educating, showing the results, and then offering them a chance to try it for no money down. And if they don't love it, then they return it. There's no risk for them. So all of that's really important online because it's about trust and transparency, which is crucial to selling online. But we teach you that through our partnership with Digital Marketer, and those guys are great. So this isn't about spending money, copious amounts of money on Facebook ads or Instagram ads. This is about online organic conversations that lead to sales. Does that make sense?
So this is basically a content-based marketing, correct? You're basically providing information and content to others and hoping that from there that they'll have an interest in the product and try it, and if they try it, maybe they'll go for it. Do you have trial offers in terms of, if let's say I decided I want to buy I want to dye my hair green because I think I would look good in green hair. So I can get a trial of the green hair dye. Is that how it works?
Well, we are anti-chemicals, so we wouldn't sell you dye. But if you wanted, bad example, boy, you're such a boy. But just say you would like to try. Like at the moment, a lot of people are having trouble with sleeping, right? There's a lot going on, and troubled minds equal trouble nights. So if you wanted to have a more natural way of sleeping rather than going to harsh things like sleeping pills or a drink at night before you go to bed, then you could try the CBD for sleep. And then you could try that for 30 days for no money down to make sure it worked for you, and then you pay at the end of that month. So that's the sort of try before you buy that we offer, which is obviously selected. You're a friend of mine, and I know you well, so I would be able to say, okay, well, I trust that you're doing the right thing. You're not a tire kicker. You're not trying to get something free from me. I will give you that trial. So that's what we give the women when they start their business, is all these like samples, like sampling when you go into retail and you get the little sample, except for I hate those because I got a lot of hair and I need about 10 of those little packets to even lather up my hair. So, and they're bad for the environment, obviously, all those little plastic little containers. Yeah, exactly. So what we do is we say, hey, look, take it for 30 days so you can actually see how it works. So you get to use this, take the ingestibles time and time again and go, okay, after a week, I'm sleeping a lot better and I'm feeling, more fresh in the morning. I'm not foggy, which is what you get from sleeping tablets. And then you might ring me in week 3 and say, actually, Tamara, those sleeping pills, I was a bit funny about trying CBD, but I tell you what, I feel great. And what else have you got? I want to keep these, so charge me for those. What else have you got in the CBD range? Because I'm really excited about exploring more of that. And then I can talk to you about, the daily tinctures and adding that to your coffee to boost your immune system. And we have this conversation. But does any of that sound like I'm selling to you?
No, and that, I think that's very important. It's kind of like, it's almost like an infomercial concept, right? An infomercial where they're providing a lot of information about product, and then, people make their own decision. Because when people make their own decision, they're more likely to stick with it. When they're being sold something, they go, they told me this, I bought it for this reason, and then that reason isn't there anymore. They're more willing to give up and quit. So for a longer-term situation, I think the longer-term relationship building is obviously very valuable.
Well, you don't have a business. You're not sustainable. If you don't have a product that works and that people rebuy, it doesn't matter how great you are at selling ice to Eskimos, they're never going to come back. So to me, you're just a one-hit wonder, and it's not a real business. The real business is quality products that speak for themselves so that people not only reorder, but they become what's called raving fans online. And what I mean by that is they're the sorts of people who go on and say, hey, you know what? A friend of mine through my network online who I met 6 years ago at a conference and we got chatting over some drinks, reached out to me and said, hey, I'm transitioning from an employee to an entrepreneur and I'm selling ethical beauty products. And I would really love, I see that you have, you swim in the ocean a lot or you go swimming every day. I'd love you to try this hair care because it's really good to repair your hair. Can I send you a trial? And tell me if you love it or not. Now, that's a much nicer conversation to have first off. But secondly, if those products are great, they're going to go back online and say, you wouldn't believe it. This great person that I met 6 years ago has reached out and sent me hair care to try for nothing. And it's amazing. You guys have to trial it. It doesn't have any parabens and sulfates. And then do you see how they're becoming your raving fans? And then by default, people come and buy more from you. And this is what we call the online organic ecosystem and community channel marketing. It's where people, we trust in other people, we give them a go, and then you go above and beyond with your product service and with your education, and then they tell other people, and before you know it, you're at that 400 people on subscription. And it's very doable. Don't forget, I've been doing this for years, right? This is my strong suit, selling online. I've sold $40 million online in the last 5 years alone, and I get to work from home with my kids and live on the beach. So I'm just merely showing them exactly how I do it so that they can do it for themselves, but without all the risks that I had to take, which is 20 years of being an entrepreneur, 20 years of figuring out how to do product development, the capital, all that stuff. I'm saying here, sell our products, sell our products that are already proven, and get the experience that you need, learn how to sell online, and then after you get to 10,000, you might want to go start that business idea that you've always had. But make that your gap transition so that you finally take the plunge. Because there's nothing worse than getting to, most people that I speak to who are older, that are my mentors, their one regret is that they didn't start their business sooner, or that they didn't start it at all. So let's not have that. Use this time wisely to make the time to transition for a better life. And women are great at business. They're great at this stuff, Brien. You know that. I reckon I could ring you tomorrow and sell you something.
We're going to be right back. You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. We'll be right back.
Your building sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new, larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you with a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new, bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
And paid for by Progression. Are you being denied credit? Are you getting hit with high interest rates because of a low credit score? Bad credit happens to good people. In fact, millions of Americans are victims of incorrect or unfair items on their credit report without even knowing. But don't worry, because the Credit Repair Helpline is here for you. We'll communicate with creditors and the credit bureaus on your behalf to address unfairly reported items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies, which can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you see meaningful improvements to their credit profile. Working to repair your credit today can help you get the new car, new home, or new job you've always wanted. Call 800-460-7570 now and get your free credit score. Call 800-460-7570 to start working to restore your credit. The call is free and the credit evaluation is free. So call 800-460-7570. That's 800-460-7570. Start building your credit today. Again, 800-460-7570.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Dutton Plumbing, this is Eric.
Son, it's Mother. I was calling to let you know I just bought 10 cases of water for me and Eunice. We tried shoving it into the pantry, but it won't fit. Can you tell me where to shove it?
Never mind the water bottles, Mom. I just installed that new Dutton Plumbing water filtration system for you, remember? Our water filtration systems actually produce bottled quality water out of every faucet in the house, even your shower. So you'll never run out of pure, clean water again.
That's great, son. When are you installing it?
Mom, it's already installed.
I better call Eunice. She could really use a water filtration system. She drinks a lot of water, and she also pees a lot.
Mom!
DuttonPlumbing.com. Dutton Plumbing's water filtration systems remove all harmful chemicals in your water and protects your health. Never run out of pure, clean water again. Right now, save on Dutton's water filtration.
He broke records and piloted the F-18 Super Hornet in combat. Answering our nation's call, he served with honor. Then Mike Garcia returned home to his family, to a far worse California from where he grew up. Now, Garcia's next mission: cut taxes, clean up homelessness in our cities. With California on the brink, we need a fighter to answer the call once again. Mike Garcia for Congress.
I'm Mike Garcia, and I approve this message.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show, AskBrien, and it's part of the AskBrien.com network. We're listening to KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM with my guest, Tamara Loehr. So first of all, Tamara, some people have asked if they wanted to reach you or connect you, how can they get in touch with you? So what
I
website
love that. The website is www.beusail, BEUSAIL.com. So yes, reach out, jump on a webinar so we can have a chat and discuss more on Zoom, how it might work for you. Because we were talking about in the break, it's really important that, you be honest and transparent online, because otherwise people see through that.
And the last question we had, we only have about 2 or 3 minutes left. That is, if your business isn't a beauty business, right? So if I have no interest in beauty, for me to become an affiliate doesn't make a lot of sense. Whereas I'm a sports guy, I'm guy, whatever, and I'm into sports, so probably for me, sports might have more an interest. Or I might not have any knowledge about beauty, but that might be a passion that I have. I just haven't spent the time and effort to do it. But then you either need to have one or the other. You either need to know a lot about it, or B, have an interest in learning a lot about something, because if you don't, it's going to be very difficult to have conversations and provide information to learn about something that you don't have any interest in. And so
it's a special interest group, right? So even though you might not be interested in the hair care, that's not a passion of yours. If you're interested in sport, you might start a whole conversation online around and in social media around the benefits of CBD for elite athletes and for people doing sport and for sporting injuries. And you could just sell the CBD from a health point of view, and you could get really passionate about that. And I could see that coming from you, because you are passionate about health and you are passionate about sport. So it needs to come from your original passion, and that's what we teach you. We learn more about you, what it is that you love, and then we find a way for you to have that conversation and tie it in with some products so that you can sell that online. And that's really important, because people want to get to know Brien at the same time, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then do you guys also sell supplements? That was the next question. We only have about 30 seconds.
Yes. Yeah, gut health as well. So something in our range is our gut health range, which is full of all your pre- and probiotics, your vitamins, your enzymes, all that sort of stuff, and of course very clean. So everything we do is organic. It's got no chemicals. It's locally made, so none of this China stuff. All made in the USA or Australia. So it's premium products, and that's what's important as well, because when you sell it and you get people coming back to you and saying, I'm feeling great, my hair's looking great, that's when you get the buzz of business, and you really want to grow it, and it just automatically grows for yourself.
All right, we're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. We have to go. We'll be back next week. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show. Thank you, Tamara, and we'll be speaking to you soon.
Thank you.